The whole point of the whistleblower statute is not only to encourage those to report problems, abuses, violations of laws, but also to have a legal mechanism to do so and not to disclose classified information because there's no other remedy. That whole purpose is being frustrated here because the Director of National Intelligence has made the unprecedented decision not to share the complaint with Congress. We were informed of this fact after the 7-day period in which the Director has to review it and submit it to Congress had expired. No complaint was provided, and the Inspector General felt it necessary to inform the Congress that that complaint was being withheld. In the absence of the actions, and I want to thank the Inspector General, in the absence of his actions and coming to our committee, we might not have even known there was a whistleblower complaint alleging an urgent concern. We will be releasing the Inspector General's letters, but I want to read one sentence from them. Mr. Atkinson wrote, "I set forth the reasons for my concluding that the subject matter involved in the complainant's disclosure not only falls within the DNI's jurisdiction, but relates to one of the most significant and important of the DNI's responsibilities to the American people." This is what's being withheld from Congress right now. We do know that the Department of Justice has been involved in the decision to withhold that information from Congress. We do not know, because we cannot get an answer to the question about whether the White House is also involved in preventing this information from coming to Congress.
In the midst of a crucial election campaign, the Canadian Prime Minister is engulfed in a major scandal. Pictures of Justin Trudeau in racist makeup have emerged. The first tweeted by Time magazine, showing Trudeau at an Arabian Nights themed party at a private school where he taught in 2001. The other is a picture of Trudeau in a high school talent show, supposedly singing the Banana Boat song, which you may know as Deo. And now this video, obtained by Canada's Global News from a Conservative Party of Canada source. We are told that this was shot in the early 90s. The Canadian Prime Minister apologized after the first picture was published, saying that he didn't think of it as racist at the time, but now he knows better. I want to bring in CNN digital producer Kendall Trammell. She has published a piece today on why these kinds of acts are so offensive. And Kendall, this is the latest episode of a politician answering for wearing racist makeup. You have this column out. It gives context as to why this is such a historically painful offense. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and it's a historically painful offense because it comes from a painful history, and it dates back to the mid-19th century when minstrel shows were really popular, Brianna. Looking at blackface, for example, there were white performers who would go on stage in front of their peers and try to appear as black people, and they would wear dark makeup. And it was offensive. They were making fun of black people, making them look like they were lazy, uneducated, and really generalizing a group. And that is what makes it so offensive.
And to also declare the prorogation of Parliament. Desire the presence of this honourable House.
Really? No.
This is not, however, a normal prorogation. It is not typical. It is not standard. It's one of the longest for decades, and it represents, not just in the minds of many colleagues, but huge numbers of people outside, an act of executive fiat. Mr. Stewart, if you don't like it, you're perfectly entitled to your view. I couldn't give a flying flamingo what your view is.
You wrote in a Washington Post op-ed, quote, "With my plan, we can achieve universal health care and a public alternative without raising taxes on the middle class. I've always said that anyone who lets the words Medicare for all escape their lips should tell us just as plainly how they plan to get there." You seem there to be accusing some of your rivals of not being upfront about how they intend to pay for Medicare for all. Stephen Colbert earlier this week seemed to suggest that Senator Elizabeth Warren wasn't being upfront.
You know, Senator Warren is known for being straightforward and was extremely evasive when asked that question. And we've seen that repeatedly. I think that if you are proud of your plan and it's the right plan, you should defend it in straightforward terms. And I think it's puzzling that when everybody knows the answer to that question of whether her plan and Senator Sanders' plan will raise middle-class taxes is yes, why you wouldn't just say so and then explain why you think that's the better way forward. Our plan does not require raising middle-class taxes. It does create a way for everybody to be covered, and I think that's what most Americans want. Look, people are used to Washington politicians not giving straight answers to simple questions, but at a time like this, on an issue this important, that's exactly what we need.
Your health care proposal seems to share a lot with that being proposed by former Vice President Joe Biden. How are they different? Why would yours be better?
Well, first of all, I don't think that it's enough to simply build on the ACA. Certainly the ACA was a leap forward, and we should be thankful that the Obama administration delivered that. But we know that far too many Americans are finding that they still can't get good insurance, or when they have insurance, affordability remains an enormous problem. We're seeking to attack the problem of affordability from several angles. Insurance, but also looking at what's driving those costs in the first place. And I really do believe the public alternative will be better. It could well be the glide path that leads to a Medicare for all environment. I just don't think it's a good idea to command Americans to adopt Medicare for all, whether they want it or not. Under my plan, if you prefer to keep your private insurance, you can. I just think that ours will be better, and if we're right, then Americans will decide that for themselves.